am superb. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview.
No problem.
So, your career began at the famous Second City Comedy Group in Canada, right?
It had been going on since, I think, 1977 or 78, I think. I joined the company in 82. So, and then I became part of the family. Actually, I was in the touring company before I went on the main stage in Toronto, and I was in a touring company with Mike Myers, of all people. And that was kind of fun. And then I bounced around a bit and then ended up on the main stage.
Oh, cool. So Mike Myers was there with you. Who are some of the other performers?
Baker was on stage with me as well.
Who?
And Deborah Faker. She is in a lot of Christopher Guest's movies.
Okay.
She's done, I forget the one where she plays Lucille, like a Lucille Ball fanatic, and there's a whole load of Lucille Ball lookalikes on this bus. And I forget what movie she's in. I think it's Waiting for Gumpton, or it's one of those. But anyway, she's hilarious. Most everyone who comes out of the Second City experience goes on to bigger and better things, obviously. And of course, one of the actors in Police Academy 3, Tim Kazarewski, was on the main stage in Chicago for many years. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was way past the era of John Candy, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, Eugene Levy, Joe Flaherty, all those guys.
They were all there before me, but they sort of blazed the way.
Did Joe Flaherty come back to teach?
I believe he did, a lot of them, I think actually Dave Thomas and Rick Moranis are doing a special benefit this summer, actually, in Toronto. They're reprising their roles as Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Alumni do come back and help out and teach and do benefits and all that kind of stuff, and it's really a wonderful thing to see. And usually at opening nights on the main stage, all the alumni are sent invitations, and most of them show up. So it's great seeing everybody again.
Oh yeah, they're extremely loyal. It's kind of like the Groundlings in Los Angeles. They're the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
And Police Academy 3 was your first movie role?
That was my, I think it was my first big film role, yeah.
Now, had you...
A big budget movie.
Now, had you seen the first two?
No, I had not. So it was a new experience. I did actually rent the Police Academy 1, the first one, before I started shooting, just to get familiar with the characters. But no, I hadn't seen two prior to my shooting.
And did you have to audition for the role?
I did, yeah. And Jerry Paris was the director on that one, and he was wonderful. I had a really good audition, and he was championing me for the part from the get-go. So I really appreciated Jerry sort of pushing me for the role.
Yeah, I mean, he was a legend by that point. He had been on the Dick Van Dyke Show. He directed every episode of Happy Days, and it's quite sad that he died a week after the movie came out. It's really sad. Right. Yeah.
He had a massive brain tumor.
Yeah.
And unfortunately that did him in, but a lovely man to work with. Although when we were on set, and filming, he would have these wild mood swings, and part of it I think was that he had suffered from manic depression, so he was on lithium, and so he had to manage that, and so there was some mood swings as a result of that. But really, what I believe caused his mood swings, and they were rather intense, it was the pressure on his brain. strain that this tumor was causing, and I think that's the real reason why he would flip out every now and then.
That's so sad. And he was young too. He was like 59 or something.
Yeah. But wonderful guy, great director. And he was always open to the actor suggesting something like, hey Jerry, can I try this little bit in the scene? And it was great because he just wouldn't say yes. He'd say, well, why? And then you'd explain it. And he goes, well, maybe if you did that and then add something like this. And so he'd build on what you suggest, and then the scene would then we shoot the scene. But he was that kind of director in terms of his openness to hearing how you can improve the jokes and stuff.
Yeah, he was a very collaborative guy, I take it. And this was a very unique role too of Hedges, because he was like a rich preppy boy who wants to be a cop, and yet he's a very big wuss.
Yeah, that's true. But it was fun, exploring the character and all its nuances. And the cast was great, of course, and so I loved everything in the film. And many of them became my very close friends that I still have today.
Yeah, I was about 3 years old. My parents got me into the franchise, and I became obsessed with them, especially 2, 3, and 4, because Bobcat Goldthwait, he made me want to become a stand-up comedian, and I am today.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, what was he like to work with?
Bob? He was great. Really, really fantastic. After the movie opened, my wife and I went down to Los Angeles, and Bob invited me and my wife to stay at his place, so which was really, really great. And I would go out with Bob at night, and we'd go to the clubs, and I'd see Bob. He was he actually, he did a lot of screaming and stuff early in his days, and but as he got older and more mature, he did less of the rant. I think he maybe slipped a little bit of some screaming in at one point, but his stand-up routine actually evolved into something very political and very, very smart and clever. And so I was always interested in seeing him perform, because you don't see that side of Bob in the Police Academy movies. But really a lovely man, and he's become a big-time director now.
Yes, he has. He's done quite a few movies. He did that documentary about his mentor, Barry Crimmins.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good. I liked it. I love so many of the scenes that you're in. I like the one my dad and I still quote to this day when you say to Hightower, "Porter, red cap."
Oh, Porter.
Yeah.
I love that. That was a fun scene to shoot. And actually, the bed of nails, that was fun to shoot. All of them were fun to shoot. And then when I come into the room and I turn on the light.
Yeah. I love that scene. Because Jerry Paris is the priest.
Yes, that's right.
And Doug Lennox, the bad guy from part 1.
That's right.
Yeah, I love that.
Doug recently passed away. He was a lovely man.
Wow. Did you get asked to be in part 4?
No. The only one they brought back from 3, I believe, is Bobcat.
But Bobcat, Sweet Chuck, and Nagata.
Right.
Did this role open any doors for you to become a working actor?
Oh, most definitely, yeah. That was, as you say, I think it was my first feature film, and having gotten that under your belt, and of course it does have big name recognition, or it did at the time. So, yes, it sort of kick-started my film career, and I've been very lucky to be continued working in the business as a result of that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Do years later you got to be in Tommy Boy. How did you get to do this role?
How did I what?
How did you get to be in Tommy Boy?
This kind of process, you audition and they liked me, and so I had a tremendous time on that film as well. But it was very interesting, having spent the day with Chris Farley and Dave Spade. They were very different personalities in terms of their on-screen personas. Like Chris was on-screen. Chris was this outgoing, big, large presence of comedy. A little on the wild side. And Dave Spade was, this sardonic, sarcastic, kind of witty, soft-spoken personality on screen. But off-screen, they were the exact opposite. Chris was sort of very non-talkative. He didn't say very much. He kept to himself, and was very sort of quiet. And spoke Jane spoke a lot. Whereas Dave Spade was fantastic. He was like, he talked nonstop with me and joked around, cracked jokes all day, and so it was interesting to see the dichotomy of their on-screen and off-screen personalities.
Yeah, David Spade, he was also in Police Academy 4. That was his first movie. Yeah, that was his first movie. Did you and him do a lot of improv?
No, we stuck mostly to the script, actually. But we did do some improv on the Police Academy, when I was working on that.
Mm-hmm. That scene between you and Spade looks like it was improv a little bit, because you two guys just are in sync with each other and so good in that scene.
I know, I love that scene, and it is a really funny scene. I do think that we might have played around a bit on it, but I seem to recall that we stuck sort of to the script as much as we could.
I see. Lord Michaels.
Because
go ahead.
Mostly because it was a timing thing, right? Because Chris had this big physical gag with the car door slamming.
Yeah.
And so we had to sort of time that our thing while that was going on. So we sort of had to keep to the exact lines.
Mm-hmm. And Lord Michaels produced it. Is that how you got to be in The Ladies' Man?
It might have had something to do with that. Yeah. That was another great experience working with Will Ferrell, of course, and Tim. So that was a really I've had terrific opportunities to work with some great comedic talent.
Oh yeah. Did Lord Michaels ever ask you to audition for Saturday Night Live?
No, I sent out some writing samples when Saturday Night Live first started, and tried to get a job as a writer, but obviously my samples weren't good enough.
Well, you would have worked out just fine on that show as a writer or a cast member, because you are a funny guy.
Oh yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So, what do you got going on nowadays?
I just finished shooting an episode of Suits, which is a really interesting show to work on. It's more of a drama than a comedy, but great cast and great crew, and so that was a fun thing. I wrote a really great pilot script with a friend of mine about a bunch of Canadian troops in Afghanistan. It's a comedy. And it's really, really fucking funny. So I've been trying to sell that with my writing partner, and we'll see what happens with that. But I'm in the process of setting that around and telling my script around. So we'll see. I'm also writing a new sitcom for my writing partner about two aging guys that start a medical marijuana business.
I write screenplays too. I know what it's like trying to get something made, to have people read it.
It just takes one guy, Tommy. One guy.
One guy.
That's it. It's just finding out one guy.
and I appreciate you taking the time to do this interview.
No problem. Just a quick little story.
Go ahead.
At one point when we were filming Police Academy 3, I would, we'd show up at 7 o'clock in the morning. It would be my call. And one week, it was a Monday, and I show up for 7 o'clock Monday morning, and Bubba Smith just refused to come out of his trailer. So we sit around in our trailers and play cards. I played cards with Steve Gutenberg for all day, and then finally, around 8 o'clock at night, they came and knocked on our door and said, okay, go home now. So I was like, okay, I worked the whole day and didn't have to shoot any day, so I went back home, and I came back the next day on Tuesday, and same thing, but refused to come out of his trailer. So, same thing, we sat around, played cards all day, and shot the shit, and went back home, and then this happened for like 5 to 6 days in a row, and then finally came out, but it was just the weirdest thing, to go to work, sit around all day, do nothing, and then get paid for it. So it was quite a funny experience.
Oh my God, that's great. David, thank you so much.
All right, Tommy, take care.
Take care. Bye-bye. Shawn?
Hello.
Hi, we are live.
Well, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I'm having a really bad sugar low. I just had a big Christmas cookie, and I'm hoping I can get the energy to speak properly. So if I sound like really low energy, it's just because I have a sugar hangover.
Oh, that's no good. Well, let's see here. So, as everybody knows, you were Miss America, Miss Universe. I'm sorry, Miss Universe, 1980. But at what point did the acting bug bite you?
When I realized I would have to go back to nursing school after I finished. I was in my 3rd year of nursing school when I entered the pageant, and I just finished my junior exams, and so after all the responsibilities I had, when it was over, my dad said, "So you're going to go back to nursing school, aren't you?" And I said, "No, I'm making too much money right now. Well, what are you doing?" And he was a very practical guy. He was a military guy in the Air Force, so he never understood the whole thing to begin with. So it just boggled his mind. He said, "Well, you need to go back to nursing school. That's a real job."
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't, but that was okay because he saw I was taking care of myself, so he kind of softened up about it.
Well, you did make a good choice. You are one of the most beautiful women of all time.
Wow, that's so nice. Would you say that to my family? Because they treat me, sometimes they just treat me like an old shoe. I'm around all the time.
Oh.
I don't think they think that I had another life, because when I started having kids, I pretty much retired. I mean, I tried to do a couple little things, but it never felt quite right, being away from the kids. So I actually did one little job where I was pregnant with my daughter. I was like 4 months pregnant, but it was perfect because there was this little movie called Dancer Texas, and I played this Waffle House waitress who, kind of a trailer court gal, with a little beer belly, and it really worked out great. Nobody knew I was pregnant because I don't think they would have hired me, because back then there was just so much, it was just so much different. You had to, be an actress and only an actress. Now I think it's very different, which is...
Yes, it's very different. And the only time a pregnant actress can get work is if she's already on a series, and...
Yeah, and that was a concern. That's why I left Baywatch, is because I just got married, and I was 29, and I thought, oh my God, what happens if I get pregnant and I'm running around in this red bathing suit, and that's not going to be pretty. That's not going to be pretty. So I went home and told my husband I quit. He goes, what?
Oh my God.
Oh.
So
Things.
So one of your first jobs that I found was you did an episode of The Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah, it's so funny. That's exactly my first job, because one of my husband's good friends is Kyle. Forget his first name. The old guy. His last name is Pyle.
Denver Pyle.
Denver Pyle. Yeah, I worked with him, and I didn't know him. I worked with him and then left, and then years later, I met his son. And it's just such a small world. They used to say 6 degrees, but I think there's maybe only 2 degrees of separation between all of us. We're so interconnected.
Yeah.
Cool.
Was that fun working with that cast?
It was my first acting job. I was incredibly nervous, and I just, I didn't know what I was doing. I was like a deer in headlights, but I had to spin this universe. I think that helped getting jobs, even though I couldn't act. It helped, especially when you didn't have a lot of lines. You could just kind of stand around.
Yeah. That led to episodes of T.J. Hooker?
Yeah, I did. No, I'm trying to think. I think when I got my SAG card, it was before Dukes of Hazzard. I got it doing a little scene on Cannonball Run 2 or 3 or one of those, and the scene was with Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr.
Yep.
And I got that little job. My agent I got a card, and I was off to the races. So, it was. Looking back on it, I don't think that stuff happens anymore. Maybe it does, but it's just so competitive now, and maybe just in your early 20s or a lot of things can happen that are just sort of out of the blue, and you're just really not aware of how lucky you are until you look back on it and go, wow, that was really something. I got that, because as you get older, every single job is just more and more competitive. And as you know, it's just for every female job, there's like about 9 jobs for men. And it's just the way things are in the creative world. Things are changing, but it's that's kind of the way it was when I was starting.
And in Cannonball Run 2, yeah, you had to kiss Dean Martin. Did you think to yourself, I made it?
No, I was so scared my dad would see it, because he used to sing Dean Martin songs, and everybody loves somebody sometime, that song. Yeah. I had to end up telling my dad I did it, and he goes, "What? You kissed that dirty old man?"
Oh my God.
This is a job. It's not. That's even worse. They paid you for it.
Oh my God. Yeah, a couple years ago, I was in a car accident, and I was in a coma for 30 days. And when I woke up, my mom got me a framed poster of the Rat Pack, and it costed a lot of money. I was like, Mom, you spend all that money you don't have on a Rat Pack poster? How's that going to make me feel good?
Oh, wow. You're lucky to be talking then. It was a bad accident, huh?
Yeah, it was a pretty bad accident. But I appreciated the gesture, though.
Oh, yeah. Anything that reminds you that you're alive has got to be great.
Oh, yeah. It was
all those silly little things that we just kind of enjoy, but those when you're in your hospital bed, anything that's outside of the medicines or the sheets or the nurses can be kind of fun just to look at.
Yeah. It was
I was stuck in I was in a terrible accident, thankfully, but I was stuck in McMurdo Station for a month during Ocean Quest. And there was nothing there. And at the time, in 1986, you couldn't even make phone calls with cell phones. And to make a phone call, you had to make an appointment for it. It was like a week in advance, and it was about $10 a minute.
Right.
And I remember it was the time of year about October there, which was like 5 o'clock sun. So it never got dark and it never got really light, and it's really depressing.
Wow.
So I remember reading just like the dumbest books, like, SpongeBob SquarePants, just stuff that was just anything just to entertain myself and keep myself from going stir crazy. Just anything that would make me laugh. So sometimes those things are just really good for your mental health.
I agree. Absolutely.
Which I really love the name of this thing. I don't know, when you sent me that thing, you have this show on Splat from the past.
Yeah.
It's really clever. It's a really clever concept. I think it's really fun.
Oh, what, the idea of the show?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was just something I came up with to keep myself busy. You know, nobody else does it, but I guess I'm pioneering.
Yeah. It's a nice break from all the politics and the worry. It's kind of a laugh and giggle about things that were in the 80s. And
Yep, I mean, I'm passionate about the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I've been very lucky. I mean, this is my 39th show. I've gotten to interview a lot of people that I just adore and stuff. It's great.
Well, that's great. You made yourself a job that you love, tailor-made to your taste, so that's awesome.
And then you were on the short-lived series Shaping Up.
I was, yeah.
What was that like?
You know who was on that? Originally was Tim Robbins, and they fired him and said he couldn't act.
Oh my God.
This happens a lot in that world, but nobody wants to talk about it because for some reason vulnerability is not, I mean, real life vulnerability is not really appreciated in that business. I guess everybody wants everybody to think they're something that they're not. But
yeah.
They don't want to expose the vulnerabilities you have. But I remember that show, and I remember Leslie Nielsen. He always walked around with this little thing in his hand that sounded like a gas, like a fart. It was a fart machine.
Oh yeah.
And so we're all sitting around the cast, and I knew he did it. He did it all the time, and so somebody new would come up, and he'd say, "Oh, so Joe, this is Shawn. Shawn, this is Jennifer. This is Tim, whatever." And then he'd let off one of those, and the guy would be like, "Whoa, you guys must know each other really well." He goes, "Oh yeah, we're really close." And then he would do one, and we all laugh and go, "Oh my God, you sucked him in. He would suck people in. We're all so close. Just let it go."
Yeah, he was famous for that. Oh my God. Yeah, he was funny.
He was so funny. Remember that? I don't know what it was. What was it? Was it Airplane or one of the movies he did? And there's this just huge explosion going on behind him. He goes, "Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Look away."
Oh, that's crazy.
Funny. Funny.
You were on one of my favorite episodes of Amazing Stories.
Oh wow, that was really that was an opportunity of a lifetime. I actually worked with Steven Spielberg on that. And I mean, at the time, I didn't really know who he was. I just didn't even know. I didn't grow up wanting to be an actor. I just kind of fell into it. So I didn't know who's who. So in some ways, it was kind of nice not knowing, who people were, because you didn't get all nervous and self-conscious. You sort of just who you were. But as I got more and more involved in it, it became more and more stressful, because then I'd realize, oh my God, I gotta go and read her love. So I preferred not knowing.
Yeah.
But he was great. He was very nice. He was really complimentary, and said, he was just great to work with. I was really excited.
Yeah, it's a crazy episode. It's probably one of the most vicious satires on pop culture of all time. And it was directed by Bob Clark, who made Porky's and Christmas Story. Yeah. And you have...
I guess Steven Spielberg was the producer, he was the director, that's right.
Yeah.
It was very clever and sharp, and I think sometimes when you're satiring your own, yourself,
yeah,
in the entertainment business, people don't really like it.
I love it.
You make fun of.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, Ed McMahon, Gary Coleman, Lyle Alzado, Barbara Billingsley, LaWanda Page in that episode.
Oh yeah, it was just amazing, that cast. Amazing.
Must have been a lot of fun.
Reminds me, I worked with Louise Fletcher. You ever worked with her? Remember her?
Yep. From One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah. It was a terrible movie, but it was one of those really, instead of a B horror movie, it was kind of like a C or a D.
Right.
It was called Shadow Zone, and
I think I saw that.
yeah, I got to work with her. That was really fun.
Yeah, she seems like she was good to work with. I remember her Academy Awards acceptance speech. She seemed so different than Nurse Ratched.
Oh, I know. Just gentle, and I think she's from the South originally.
Mm-hmm.
I remember her telling me a story. I don't know if it was somebody that she knew that was close to her, or maybe one of her kids. I'm not quite sure, but she asked me, you know, are you gonna have a family? Are you gonna have kids? And I said, oh yeah, I hope to. And she asked me, you know, about my life, and I said, I lost my mom when I was really young, and all that. She goes, oh my goodness, well, I have to give you a word of a warning, because I think she said she lost her mom really young, and you have to be careful when you have kids. You'll want to put them in a bubble, and you'll overprotect them, and they'll never be able to, you know, you'll kind of make them an invalid. And I just never forget that conversation. I didn't know her very well. She invited me into her trailer, and we talked over lunch, and we talked about, you know, a lot of really personal things. And I just remember her telling me that, and I thought about that many times when I was raising my kids, how hard it is not to, you know, overprotect and you know, sort of turn them into invalids, because you do everything for them.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when you lost your, you know, like losing my mom when I was so young, I thought, oh, well, this is a great chance to make up for all that.
Yeah.
The problem is, it was you that didn't have a mom, not them. And there was many times when my kids would go, oh, mom, just stop. Leave me alone.
Absolutely. And then you did Police Academy 3, and this is where I fell in love with you, because I was 3 years old. I had like the first 3 Police Academy movies on VHS when I was a kid, and I used to like walk around the house quoting them all over the place, because I was obsessed with Bobcat Goldthwait at that time. He made me want to become a comedian, which I am.
Oh, he was funny. He was so funny.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy, what his name is, did all the noises.
Oh, Michael Winslow.
I couldn't keep a straight face whenever he would have a scene. I'd have to leave the set.
I know that scene where you're like in the car with him and you're pantomiming, you know, possible, you know, hitting somebody and everything. It's so funny.
So great. Yeah, that was an amazing cast.
Yeah, I interviewed David Huband a couple of months ago.
Who?
David Huband. He played Hedges in the movie.
Oh gosh, I forgot his last name. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked a few months ago. He told me that Jerry Paris had a lot of mood swings because he was sick.
I think, yeah, he hit me with his car one day. He ran right into my leg.
Wow.
I think he had manic episodes.
Yeah, brain tumor.
Was it from a brain tumor?
Yeah, that's what he told me.
Oh, well, that makes sense. But he ran into my leg and gave me a huge bruise, and I was so young and, you know, very reactive. I mean, I went over to him and threw some coffee on him, but nowadays he do something about it. I don't think he hit me in the leg with his car either. Things were very different back then. It was more like the Wild West.
Yeah.
It was like, oh wait, you're gonna hit me with your car? I'm gonna throw some hot coffee on you. It was a good thing I had 2 older brothers. It made me kind of a tomboy anyway, so I never really felt I was out of my league. I always fought back.
Oh, I love tomboys. I've been around them my whole life.
You have siblings?
No, I don't have sisters. I had a lot of female cousins, and I've always been more comfortable hanging out with girls and stuff. So yeah, it's something I can relate to.
Yeah. Get in the mud, throw some stuff. How
did you get the role?
Of Police Academy?
Yeah.
Let me think. I was terrible at auditioning, so I'm sure it wasn't my audition. It just was horrible. I was so nervous and had no skills. So my manager at the time got me an audition, and I went and auditioned for it. Didn't hear back. And I think the girl I ended up wanting for it couldn't do it. She got something else, and so I was sort of like the backup. That happened. That's how I got Baywatch too. I wasn't the original person they hired for the first episode, Jill. They hired somebody else, and then they found out she couldn't swim. So my audition, I'm sure, sucked for that thing too. And they called my manager and knew that I could swim because I just finished doing Ocean Quest, which is a mini series that went scuba diving all around the world. So they knew I could swim. So they called me in, and they were just sort of, their back was against the wall, and they just said, okay, we need somebody tomorrow because our actress can't swim. And I said, I can swim. I can tell you that. I can't act, but I can swim.
Yeah. Did they ask you to be in part 4?
No, I haven't been a part of it since the first year.
No, I mean Police Academy 4.
Oh, 4? No. Mm-mm.
Would you have done part 4?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I liked the concept. I liked those movies. They were fun, and there was some action in them, but they were silly, you know?
Mm-hmm. Part 3, I think, is the silliest one. It's got probably the most slapstick of all of them.
Oh, my gosh, doesn't it? Yeah.
To this day, I still quote your line about your ear being a finely tuned crap detector.
I forgot about that. That was good.
Yeah. Back when I was a kid, that was a popular line in our house.
Yeah, finely tuned crap detector. So funny. Yeah, we got the other director, and I can't remember his name. He was so good too. He did the first one. I didn't get a chance to work with him, but everybody loved him too.
Hugh Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah. He also, he created WKRP in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was a great director. Everybody loved working with him. I never got a chance to, but I heard about it when I was on the set of Police Academy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So then you did the short-lived series J.J. Starbuck.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like working with a legend like Dale Robertson?
Oh, he was full of wisdom too. I'd sit in the makeup counter and he'd go, you married? You got kids? I go, no. He goes, well, what are you going to do? Sleep with that script? Because, he just was, that was really funny. I said, golly, you're right. I guess this thing is going to keep me warm. Mm-hmm. But he was like a granddad, he was just always sort of a little gruff, but caring. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was that, I know it takes a lot of work to like film an hour series. Was that like a really intense, grueling schedule?
It wasn't so bad because when you're not there's we had quite a few regular characters on there, 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. You'd get you'd get a couple of episodes that maybe you were completely in, and that would be long days. But we were in Vancouver. Mm-hmm. We were filming in Vancouver, and it was so pretty and so nice. Everybody was so friendly, and they put us up in a nice apartment. And I just felt like I had more free time than I was actually working. Because shows like that, there's so much other things besides the scenes that you're in that they're doing. So you have to be on call a lot, and you don't plan anything during your day. But I could run around and and sightsee and run. They had beautiful parks there. I think it was Stanley Park. Used to it was a beautiful place to be for a couple months. So it didn't seem like it was that rigorous.
Mm-hmm. Did the network cancel because of low ratings?
Probably. That's usually the case. It used to be anyway. Yeah. And maybe, I don't know if Dale Robertson wanted to do anymore. I mean, maybe he didn't want to. I think there was this other guy, the tap dancer. Let's see, he was on it too.
Ben Vereen?
Ben Vereen, yeah.
Yeah.
I think between the two of them, they had schedule problems. I'm not sure they wanted to film out of state.
Mm-hmm. So besides raising your kids, what have you been up to?
I've been writing and painting and volunteering, and during the fall, my daughter goes to Princeton. She plays volleyball for the women's team there. So during the fall, we get to go and follow the team around and watch her play. And they won Ivy League last year, and they won this year. And so they went to the first round of the NC2As, which was in Iowa last weekend. So during the fall, we take off and go and see her. I feel pretty lucky to be able to do that because there's nobody left at home I have to, hover over except my dog.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I'm retired, but I'm also getting a chance to do what I want to do. It's kind of cool.
Do you ever get invited to autograph signing shows?
I have before, but that's kind of creepy.
Creepy?
It's kind of creepy. I don't do it because it's a little creepy. I mean, one thing if you were, promoting a show or something you were doing, at the moment, but it feels kind of creepy.
Oh, I go to conventions all the time. I've met a lot of people I've started interviewing on here. It's amazing. I'm hooked on it.
You like it?
Yeah. I've only been disappointed by a couple people I've met, but for the most part, oh my God, they are just so sweet, the people I've met.
Oh, that's nice. That's good to hear. Now, are you in California?
Yeah. I'm originally from the Bay Area, which I'm probably going to be moving back to soon. I came over here to Reading to help my mom with the rent.
Mm-hmm.
And hope to move to Los Angeles in 2019 because, for my stand-up comedy and my acting career and stuff.
Oh. You must be really, really passionate about it because it's so hard.
Yeah, it's very hard now. And the more I pursue it, the more I find out it is. But I'm so passionate about it, I don't see myself giving up at all.
Mm-hmm. And I think you're creative, so you should write if you do. You should be.
Oh yeah.
You have you're clever and you're fast and you're creative. So keep writing whenever you can. You never know. You could write yourself right into something. I think that's when you think about some of the best movies, they're written by people who wrote it for themselves, and just think about all the different ensembles that you loved over the years, like all the Christopher Guest guys.
Yeah.
They just become just part of everything you want to see because their ensemble stuff is so great.
Oh yeah, Christopher Guest is a genius.
Yeah. Oh, I'm telling you, everything they do is hysterical. And I mean, when you think about Steve Carey, Steve Carell, John Carey, Steve Carell,
right.
And his version of The Office to me is brilliant. Because I don't know if you ever saw. I'm sure you have the British version of The Office.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard it was pretty good.
The main character, Jarvie, he plays that character with much more of an edge, and it's not nearly as funny. Steve Carell does it. Steve Carell does it. He's a bozo. His character is.
Yeah.
You just love him. You just love him. He's so selfish. But the way he does it, you just can't. You just love him. He's alike, but the other guy, the English guy that plays the same character in The Office, is really edgy, and it's really hard to like the guy. So it's a very interesting way of seeing the same character played by two completely different people and two different points of view about playing them, which I find really fascinating when you're in the acting or in the comedy world.
Yeah, I'm a big comedy guy in all aspects, and I want to try besides stand up. Like I want to do like sketch and improv too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been wanting to.
So fun.
I've been wanting to
I think those improv. I took some improv classes, and I loved them so much. I could have just been in there all day long. I think they're really good for your mental health.
Yeah.
They're so, the exercises you do there where you go in and you just decide, you get a character, and every moment you have to say yes instead of no. The big no in those kinds of improvs is you can't say no, and that's where they get some of the best writing. I think is they just throw them all of themselves in one room, and they just start going for it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That funny scene where Steve Carell wants to do his improv because he wants to be a comedian, in The Office, and he wants to do an improv with all of his coworkers, and he pulls out a gun every time. The whole thing. So him is like, no, you can't do that. You never do that. You certainly can't pull out a gun. But it stops the whole scene because I won.
Oh my god, that sounds funny. I gotta see that now.
You haven't seen that? Oh my god, it's so good. Maybe it's because we're in the business, but it's even my kids. My kids are the ones that turned me on to The Office, and we've watched it so many times that we know all the words. We know all the dialogue.
I mean, I've seen the American one. I haven't seen the British one yet. Oh my god, that's crazy. How's that sugar cookie coming along?
Yeah, I'm coming on the other side of it now, I think.
That's good. Yeah, as you get older, you get put into food comas, sugar comas. It's no fun.
Oh, yeah, I just have to... Yeah, I went to the doctor, and I said, now these palpitations, and then I'm tired all the time. And he goes, well, how much caffeine do you drink? I said, just a little bit. Well, how much? Then I think I counted like 7 espressos.
Oh, my God.
And he goes, well, that's too much. That's why you're having palpitations. And then he goes, and I noticed everything in your blood work's really great, but do you eat a lot of sugar? And I go, oh, wow, bingo, he got me.
Oh.
So.
Wow.
But Christmas time is the time to eat all that stuff, so I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah. Sugar, caffeine, that's my problem, and I'm trying to cut it out because diabetes runs in the family.
Yes, yeah. Just, I guess the key is eating a little bit of it and eating something else with it if you have blood sugar issues.
Yeah. I mean, moderation, and portion control is the key. I once lost 130 pounds on a diet I had to go on.
Wow. Oh my God, that's fantastic. How long did it take you to lose that?
Well, I mean, the goal was 100 pounds, and the extra 30 I kept off. It took me from June to about February or March to get to the 100. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
I had a nutritionist help me. I just ate a lot of greens. I didn't eat before bed. I drank nothing but water. I mean, it was a lot of dedication, and I had just started doing stand-up comedy at that time, and so writing jokes became my new vice instead of eating.
Well, it's a lot better for you.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back into that, but it's been 10, 11 years now, and I don't know, I think I've grown as a person. I'm trying to it's hard for me to get back into that mode,
Yeah, I mean, but it's good because you've got more experience now, so you have more to draw upon. and you're not the same person. 10 years go by, and we're all different, which is good. Otherwise, we wouldn't have learned anything.
Mm-hmm. It's just the hard part is just I got a lot more going on now, so it's just hard to put it into my daily routine.
Mm-hmm. That's why you gotta get partners to write with you or get together and come over and get your buds to go over and just work on themes together.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. It'll probably happen once I get back to the Bay, though, because there's nothing around here.
Mhm. Yeah, they still have all those great comedy. Do they have comedy places up there?
In the Bay Area, yes, the comedy boom out there is pretty huge.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good. That's good.
So, Shawn, I thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview today.
You're welcome.
It was just such a pleasure. You're a very sweet lady, I have to say.
Thank you. You're a great guy, and I wish all the best on this. I think you have a great idea, and obviously everybody loves talking to you, so you're doing an awesome job.
Oh, thank you so much. You're making me blush right now.
Okay. Well, you take care. Have a great holiday. Merry Christmas, and all the best.
Let's stay in touch on Facebook.
Cool. All right. We'll do.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. You too.